Okay, we're live.
Alrighty, cool. Hello, and welcome to the IE Galaxy Podcast, a show that talks about the LA Galaxy from a fan's point of view. I'm your host, Salvador. Alongside me is my fluffy, sick friend, Fabian. Brother man, how are you today?
I'm not sick.
What the fuck is with the nose thing?
I don't know. I think I got allergies.
That sounds
Allergies.
right. Allergies. Besides that, you what?
It makes them fat.
You are fat. We know that. We're gonna move on. So Fabian's fat, nothing new. Anything new besides the fact that you're fat?
I'm harmonizing with the video since it's like a second behind.
Like a Buddhist monk.
I saw Black Panther yesterday.
It comes out today.
Midnight.
You did all the midnight. How was it?
It was pretty good.
Oh, okay.
Black History Month all the way.
That's what I assumed.
Martin Luther King Jr. would be proud of the movie.
Yeah, I mean, not that I get too deep into Marvel, but I do know that it was based off like the Black Panther movement back in the 60s. That's how Stanley envisionized it. He just, kind of like sidetracked it and not make it directly towards it, but Stanley had that, got it inspired by the Black Panther, the actual Black Panther movement.
It definitely has like a touch of like a realism because of the villain's motivations. I won't get too much into it.
Okay, yeah, that's fine, because I was out with my missus on Valentine's Day, and she's like, oh yeah, we're going to go see Black Panther on Friday, so I'm not sure if she's going to go visit or see, but anyways, movies are cool. I've been fine. I think Valentine's Day was pretty much the highlight of my week. I went out with my missus. We went to see Jumanji.
How was that? Was it good? I heard it's really good. Oh.
I mean, it's action. It's mostly action. The story's like, but overall
for that type of movie, you're not there for the story. You're just there for like,
the action. Yeah, and it wasn't even like that funny. There was like one or two funny jokes, but I don't know. It was just the action. I guess that was the best part of it. So to be honest, I wouldn't see it again. But for seeing it for the first time, it's like, yeah, it's like a action movie. But it wasn't too big on how can I put it to you, recommending it for anyone. I wouldn't go watch it once, but don't buy it on DVD or whatever. That's what I should say about Jumanji. And then if you guys saw on Instagram yesterday, the whole duck thing, my missus actually gave me that for Valentine's Day. So Pato wearing LA gear. There you go. He's like behind the scenes. He's just watching over.
The duck is the cameraman today.
He is the cameraman today. Pato is behind the scenes cameraman. I got some fan page news. You never gave me an update on the website. How's that going?
It's going really good. I'm gonna pay for it today, so that we can have the yearly subscription for it.
Okay, so you're gonna get everything done. So it's just like the format's all set, pretty much. You just
kind of. It's almost there, but I still need a couple of things to do it. Okay. It would be up, but it's just it's not finished. It'll be up though.
Okay, that's the best update we got. Thank you for that. We'll head into some post-game talk. I mean, we're not going to talk about yesterday's game because, like, Riot Squadcast recorded it on their Periscope, so I'm not going to really analyze the game based off that. But we did beat Fresno 3-1 on a friendly over there in Santa Barbara. Thomas Hilliard Arce looking pretty good for being the draft pick. But I want to talk about the preseason game against New York City FC, where we defeated them in a 3-0 victory. New York City FC were down to 10 men by the 27th around there minutes, where a man tripped Allison Drini and he got a direct red card. And Kamara also scored the first goal for LA. Thomas scored the second, and Baggio finished it up for Galaxy with a third goal, kind of a cleanup after the goalkeeper's mask kind of put it in the spots. Overall thoughts, I thought it was good for the first team in their first 45 minutes. They looked pretty good. I'll get to the positives, and then we'll work on to the negatives. Kitchen is great. Everyone's been praising about Harry Kitchen, and he was exceptional for what I expected. How people, I'm gonna put it to you, praise about him. He's been pretty good. He's like the poor man's Michael Bradley, I would say. You know, he's just like that soccer general where he kind of just controls that area. He gets the tackles, takes away the ball, distributes it to teammates, you know, like accurately, and then he kind of just sets it up, and he doesn't necessarily contribute to attacks. So Perry does what he got to do. Perry Kitchen got to do what he got to do. I think why this pen doesn't work? Holy fuck, this pen doesn't work. I got a pen that doesn't work. What else? What else was good? The boy was looking pretty good. Sebastian Lletget for his second half. He looked pretty good. He looked pretty attacking. He was like very attackive aggressively. He's kind of just cutting into the middle, kind of being like the striker.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was pretty impressive. I think Sebastian does, well, I'll get to that later, but Sebastian did look good coming off from that long injury. So just crossing my fingers that he's not going to end up like Joshua, where that injury kind of sets him back and he's going to be like a different person when the season comes. But overall, I think Alessandrini is going to come back, and he's going to come back strong like he did before the big injury that he had last season. Let's see. Jonah did pretty good. Jonah Dos Santos, he had to do what he was supposed to do. You know, he played like the Jonah that Jonah plays, that Jonah does in Mexico. He's all over the field, all over the midfield, kind of just doing the 1-2 passes, kind of just pushing that aggression, pressing against the opposition and trying to get the possession away from them. So Jonah is doing what he's supposed to do, and it's pretty good to see him that he does it in this preseason match. I thought that was pretty good for Jonah. Let's see. I'll probably get into some other things. I should go chronologically instead of top to bottom. Ciani, kind of a big guy, slow. I kind of changed my mind about giving Ciani that second chance, but Ciani is old. Ciani is big and old, and I really find it hard for him to stay in the LA Galaxy because the guy gets outrun so much, and he just doesn't seem to click with the defenders. You know, he seems uneasy with the ball. You know, he cracks under pressure. He cracks a lot under pressure, and for an experienced guy like that who plays in Europe and so on and so forth, it's kind of crazy how an experienced defender like that just cracks under pressure, and like from attackers and midfielders, and you know, I believe it's still a weak spot in that center defensive defender spot, but I believe I'll get more into that later on. But Ciani kind of saw like maybe the first 45 minutes, if I had to pick like the worst performance of the first team, I think Ciani would be like the worst player that was out there. Again, all this criticisms and positivity, negativity, it's all preseason. This is just what I observed. This is not like what they'll do when the season starts. Staying on the defensive back, Jorgen Selvik. I saw him on the back. He needs to communicate. I think that's one thing that Jorgen needs to improve on is the communication. He had a lot of miscommunications, especially with David Bingham, as far as like, just like, oh, who's going to get the ball, who's going to clear it out. So I think Jorgen needs to kind of just stay with the program with the rest of the team because he looked really out of place as far as just where his head's at usually. It kind of just looks like he's just watching, right? He looks like a fan amongst the team. And I'm just like, you're on the field, you got to contribute, you got to get with the program, you got to talk. Given, the guy came from Norway, he's still getting used to the language and the league. And it's going to be a bit difficult for him. I can keep a straight face while you sneeze, so yeah, there you go. Anyways, so Jorgen needs to talk. I think communication is something he needs to focus on. So other than that, I don't think like physically Jorgen's fine, but I believe, see, he's doing it again.
Fuck.
Jorgen needs to communicate. So, but of course, time always cures everything. So I think Jorgen needs to learn how to communicate. You gotta talk, and talking is very important because It doesn't matter how good you are in Europe or whatever. It's communication first. You can be like the worst player out there, but if you can communicate, then you'll be fine. We got Jorgen. We talked about Jonah. We talked about Kitchen. Gio. I think Gio is that position that Gio is during that preseason match. I believe that is the right position for him. He's kind of like the striker that's behind the normal striker, and I feel like that should be his natural position. I did feel like he didn't have to go back to defend and go like all the way past his halfway line just to, you know, put pressure on the person with the ball. So I felt Gio did okay. I wouldn't say too bad or too good. You know, I'm not discrediting him for anything, but Gio, I think that should be his natural spot. I think if Gio can stay there, and if he doesn't have to necessarily worry too much about being defensive and kind of just sticking more to those 1-2 passes, especially with that triangle between Gio, Jonah, Emma, and Alessandrini, those seem like your creative players, and I think Gio should just stick to that creativity and focus on 1-2 passes and trying to find some creativity amongst those three.
Would you say Gio is an attacking midfielder?
See, he's
or
kind
the
of
center attacking midfielder?
See, he's kind of like second striker. So like Ola Kamara's like your number 9 lone striker up there, and Gio is kind of like, well, he has tendencies to be an attacking mid, but I feel like he's like second, like here's Ola and then here's Gio. Gio should always be that second striker behind Ola, but I don't think necessarily the position he is in is center attacking midfielder, but he does have tendencies to do that because he always goes back and tries to get try to get the ball, put some pressure on the players, and trying to just take possession and stuff like that. But I think it's suitable for Gio to just kind of just stay in his spot because you have Jonah. Jonah is like a box-to-box midfielder. He is supposed to, you know, make the passes and then also come back and try to put some pressure on the midfield and trying to get possession. Mm-hmm. And then if it goes too far back, you leave that to Perry, because Perry Kitchen, he that's his spot. Like, that's his territory. If you're around his territory, don't worry. Perry Kitchen's got it all good. That's why you kind of need a guy like Perry Kitchen, because he can. He's like a wall. He takes the ball away from you. He won't let you pass, and then he just passes it to the right guy, distributes it, etc., etc. So Perry Kitchen. Wall? Perry Kitchen is our wall. Yeah, he's our kitchen. He's our kitchen sink.
He's the wall.
Kitchen.
He's the wall throwing trampolines.
Yeah. Yeah.
He's like, no.
And speaking of a free kick, I mean, I don't know if you didn't see the game clearly. We had a wall. I mean, did you see it? Yes or no?
No, I didn't.
Don't get offended.
Sorry. I was at work.
You were at work.
It was fucking stupid. I was mad. So I want to see Leon play and New York and LA Galaxy play.
Yeah, those are at the same time. I think Landon did play. It was like a 10-minute. I don't know what he contributed or anything. Nothing clearly. I think like Leon lost the last game like 5-1.
Damn, man. He wasn't
playing in that one, no. So I don't know what's happening. And just to touch on that Landon Donovan thing, they are having a friendly in March 31st, if I'm not mistaken. Landon Donovan and Leon will take on San Jose in a friendly.
Ooh. And
I heard that, on the 31st, that's when we play LAFC, so that's why it would have been the Galaxy, but I mean, Galaxy already playing that game. So he's going to go to San Jose, and that'll be fun. That'll be fun to watch how they boo Landon. Back on track, we're talking about Gio and Jonah. So Jonah, that's the set position. He needs to go back and forth. That's the Jonah that we expect and that we see. So he has to stay in that role and do what he has to do there. And then Gio just has to just stay on. Well, not all the way on top. Like Ola's going to be like the lone man. Like especially in corner kick situations, he'll be like the last man out in the midfield when the goalkeeper blasts it away or something. He'll be the lone striker up front, and then Gio just has to focus more on the creativity part and to just worry less about trying to tackle and trying to take the ball away, because Jonah and Kitchen can take care of that. So I think the trust has to be there for Gio. We'll go down to Ramon Alessandrini. I said it last week. He's the same. Nothing new, nothing different. Just same old Alessandrini. nothing to complain about. I mean, they did trip him up a bit in that one play, so Alessandrini just hopefully doesn't get too hurt when players trip him up. But other than that, Alessandrini just doing Alessandrini things. Got nothing new to report on that. He does like to switch sides. I did notice that with him and Emma, kind of like that, that natural instinct of total football where you just switch sides naturally, and he does it effortlessly. So Alessandrini's all right. Emma, when I saw him play, here's the thing about Emma. This is why everyone kind of does see Emma as a second string, because despite the fact that Emma's like one of the fastest players on our team, his ball control is like a little bit off par, not 100%, but he has the speed, but the ball control is like he could do a little bit of work on it. I did see him struggling a bit, trying to shake up some defenders or players against New York, but he's great at speed. I think the ball control, he could use a little bit more technique and more control on that. Ashley Cole, I didn't really see much of Ashley Cole during that preseason. I know he did have that communication of the pass with Bingham and Shelvick, but other than that, Ashley Cole was fine. Fletcher. So I heard a lot of people like complaining about Fletcher and stuff, and this was like my concern since the RSL preseason game. I haven't yet seen a lot of what Fletcher can do defensively, because he's like the right defensive back where he moves up as the wing, and you can see he always passes it to Alessandrini and to Ola, where he's trying to be in that triangle and trying to do like the 1-2 passes and trying to make a play out of it. He's somewhat struggled with the whole chemistry between them, and then he tried to do a service cross to Ola, and he kind of like failed in that situation. So it feels like me personally, my philosophy would be like he can just stay there and just have like Alessandrini and Ola, kind of like do the creativity amongst themselves. But I think like the game plan that Siggy's putting is that the defensive wings move up, and then it's going to be like pretty much crossing, because Ola's a tall guy and he can like header it, and he can do like the scissors kicks and all the goals. Especially the first goal that he made was a pretty good goal on the volley. So I think like a lot of the game plan for Siggy is probably just like the defenders, go up there, contribute, and then like a lot of crosses that will happen. So I don't know if I think Fletcher has to work on his attacking style as far as like bringing the ball upfield and trying to learn the passes, because he's still struggling with the passing and kind of like receiving the ball and trying to distribute and trying to just fend off defenders when he's in possession of the ball. So again, I have not seen Fletcher be so defensively, because I think, like I said, the wings will be more on the attack, and then you just have Kitchen, and you have Shelvick, and you have Ciani, kind of just those defensive three, kind of just be there defensively. And then Thomas, we got this a lot of Twitter people.
So Ciani being like moving up forward, you think that's a bad thing?
Well, I'll get to that, but Ciani overall is just he's the replacement of Yellow Van Dam, and he's supposed to be that big guy, strength. That's what he's supposed to represent. And on the field, well, during like free play where it's not like a set piece, he's kind of like, when he gets possession, he gets nervous, and then when he does the passes, it's not necessarily to the right target, and so he always cracks under pressure. And if Ciani does move up, it would be a problem, because his dribbling skills aren't even the best per se. I think the pros of Ciani is just set pieces, because he's tall, therefore he just does headers. When we get a corner or when we defend a corner, he's always going to be that big guy.
Oh my God, I wasn't talking about Ciani. I was talking about Fletcher. Fletcher is on the wing, right?
Yeah, he's on the right. Yeah.
Okay, I'm talking about Fletcher. My bad, not Ciani. So you think Fletcher moving up in the wing is bad?
Well, just based off what I see, he's not necessarily. Like, I always compare it to Dani Alves. Danny, he knows how to control, right? He knows how to keep possession. Like, he knows how to like attack, be a winger, moving forward. Fletcher is playing that role of being a winger going forward, but his ball control and his passing doesn't seem like he will fit that role. And my concern is I haven't seen him defensively. I haven't seen him like go back and try to be physical on a tackle or whatever, or see him man marking. I have not yet seen that of him, and that's why hopefully if we see him in San Jose, playing against San Jose or against the Whitecaps, hopefully I get to see how he is defensively, because if you just have a winger who just moves up and he doesn't necessarily contribute, or he always like has faults and he loses possession, and if he can't come back, or I don't know how he will react after he loses the ball. Like, will he sprint down and like get the cheap foul, or will he sprint back and try to like physically like elbow him or trying to let's fight for the ball? I'm not sure about that. That's why I'm kind of just like this gray area with Fletcher, where I don't know how he is defensively. So that's like my concern, and that's still valid about the whole Ciani.
Yeah, no, I'm sorry. I mixed them up, but yeah, I'm in Fletcher.
You listen with your ears, not your nose. Thomas, I wanted to say about Thomas, the first round draft pick that we got, and I did tweet this, and I said it since I saw the video of him in Stanford. Am I from there?
Yeah.
So Thomas, like I said, he's like he always tackles with the shoulder. He's just an all around great defender as far as like tackles, as far as being physical and aggressive. And then he scored a lot of goals for a defender when he was in Stanford. I already forgot the stats, but a lot of them were on set pieces and corner kicks. He's good on headers. In fact, he made like 2 preseason goals on headers. So that's like one specialty of Thomas, is that he always gets those headers in. And I do believe, from the bottom of my heart, that within time this boy could be a first team starter. I do feel that, because when I first saw him, I said that he is a potential G2 starter, if not a G1 bench. We still haven't signed a contract with him, but I do feel like Thomas can and will be a first team starter. I do feel that, and I will get to it later, because we do have like a weak spot in that CB spot, but I'll get more to it later. But I do, and I'm still defending the fact that Thomas should be a first team player. Cool. So that's pretty much my overall. The second team, they did all right. I didn't spot out anyone specifically because we were playing 10 men, so it's just like whatever, right? I heard a lot of good stuff about Clementa. I didn't see. I don't know. I was like fogging out because like I was watching like my Chivas lose. I'm a Chivas fan, and we've been losing quite a lot. But yeah, I was like the fog spot between watching it on my laptop against New York and then watching it on TV with Chivas. So I didn't see too much of how G2 was doing, but I did see a lot of good stuff from the Jets. And so, yeah, I didn't have too much on the substitutes, but they weren't too shabby. They did play differently from the first team, but they got something together, and they did some things. Biggs got 2 goals, which is something. I mean, it's not everything. It's not whole. You wouldn't like get out of your seat if you defeated like second or New York City B with 10 players. I wouldn't like lose my mind over that, especially if it's a preseason. But not too shabby. I would say not too shabby for the second team. Cool. We'll go to some outside of the pitch news. We got some injuries. I heard Corner of the Galaxy say that BJ and Ari were injured. I'm not sure. I just overheard it. I'm not sure what their injuries are. Probably maybe training injuries. That's why they weren't on the bench, or we haven't been seeing them in preseason. So that's probably something to look up. Nothing too much on that. We'll move down to transfer rumors. Just a little update on the Zlatan thing. Him and his missus out house shopping in the Bel Air, Beverly Hills area. So if that ignites your fuel that Zlatan is getting closer to LA, there you go. He's house searching, but he is back in training with Manchester United. He has his contract ends in the summer. In the league, as far as Manchester is concerned, they are kind of behind on Man City. So if Zlatan does have this ambition of winning a Champions League or winning anything with Manchester United, I think the Premier League will be out of bounds for that. As far as champions, they're in, I believe, like the round of 16, so they're still in the race for the champions if he wants to do a champions. And I believe they're still in the FA Cup. I think they play tomorrow. for the FA Cup.
I thought Manchester United was out of the.
I think they're out of the League Cup.
League Cup? I thought they were out of the Champions League.
No, I think they play next week.
They play next week? Oh, okay.
Yeah, they play. I forgot who they play, but yeah, they're still in. They have 3 other tournaments.
I saw Real Madrid versus PSG.
Oh yeah, I heard that was an exciting game.
Yeah, it was exciting. So the last 10 minutes, because that's when Real Madrid scored the 2 more goals and came back against PSG.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I didn't see it. I was watching Jumanji probably. Anyways, no, fuck me, I don't give a shit.
I know you don't give a shit.
I don't. So that's the whole transfer rumor on Zlatan.
Yeah, fuck that pen.
Yeah, fuck this pen. I'll just leave it here. There's no other rumors. The transfer window is open for the MLS. I did ask experts, and it's already been a week in the transfer. So the transfer window ends for the MLS on May 1st. So our window's open. So what that means, if you're keeping track with the whole Zlatan thing, is that Zlatan can come here legally. He could, we can move him here. Just because it's over in Europe doesn't mean there's no chance that he will come here. There is a possibility that he could come here because the MLS transfer window is open if you expect Zlatan to come before the summer. So that's food for thought for you pro Zlatan guys. A little bit on social media. I saw on his story that Ola Kamara had the flu, and so he wasn't there for Fresno. Hopefully he recovered from the flu. That was in Valentine's Day or the day before, so hopefully he recovered.
The flu takes a week. It's a good week.
Hopefully, if it's not a bad flu. But hopefully he's there for San Jose. If not, that's probably the reason why.
Start the hashtag pray for Kamara.
Pray for Kamara. Yeah, I think you gave it to him because you're sniffling and stuff. It's all your fault, Fabian.
Achoo!
Because Fabian one time Fabian's the kind of guy who would wear that one piece bikini bottom, and he would go to Venice Beach half naked riding on those bicycles that have 4 pedals where you can sit another person, and then he's doing that with Ola, and he's behind Ola, and then he sneezes, and then Ola's what the fuck, and then Ola gets sick, and then we all blame Fabian, and there you go.
It was me.
It was all Fabian. That'd be funny if you were to ride a bike.
You remember the video I showed you?
Yeah.
That would be. The bike would have been nah, man, nah, I'm sorry. I was gonna collapse.
You're gonna break the port tire. Okay, cool. So that's pretty much all that. I want to get to some other news. I wanted to debate about this. Ashley Cole was announced this week that he is the 2018 LA Galaxy captain. So good for him. I wanted to bring 2 sides to this. As much as I like Ashley Cole being captain, I want to present an argument that has 2 sides of this, because there is 2 sides of the coin when it comes to Ashley Cole being the captain. The pros of him being captain is that he has experience, right? He's done everything you can in football. He's done everything you could do as far as champions in Europe, playing with England, etc. He's done everything, and that's pretty big. You would want an experienced captain. Wisdom beats anything. Right, it beats the bronze and the talents. Experience tops all that. So he definitely has the experience, and then team respect. In fact, he has so much respect among teammates that they actually chose him to be captain. It was actually a team decision, according to Josh. So everyone was on board. It wasn't This wasn't Siggy's, pulling a name out of a hat or just pointing the finger and just say, "Hey, Ashley, you're captain now." It was kind of just a team that came together and said, we would like Ashley to be captain. And, excuse me, the con, I think pretty much the big problem with that is his age. Again, Ashley is 37 years old. In this kind of sport, it does ask a lot for your body, and especially the whole course with MLS as far as, 90 minutes is one thing if you're in England, but it's 90 minutes for another thing where you're a normal starter when last season he started 26 games. it also asks for like travel and like time changes. We have 4 time zones here in America, and it does ask a lot for him for the travel. And it's playing on turf, which it's a lot harder on injuries and especially his age because it is asking for a lot. So the whole age thing is pretty much like the biggest problem because when we compare him to Robbie Keane is the same age as him, and the reason why he's not with the Galaxy is because his legs gave out. He had that one thing. So, Robbie Keane is playing in India of all things, and he still gets injured in India. So he's like, always see him on his Instagram, always like training and rehabbing. So, the fear is that going to happen to Ashley? Given 2 different positions, Keane is a forward, which run a lot more than defenders. Defenders, you run a little bit less, but nevertheless, you still run for 90 minutes, which is quite a lot. And then, the whole thing with him being captain is that, well, one plus side is that who else? Who else would have been captain? It's a new team. Siggy had to rebuild everything. And so who would possibly be, the captain? Clearly, Ashley Cole is the best candidate. He's kind of just like the poison that's less poisonous. Well, that's a bad analogy. He's kind of like I can't think of an analogy. I'm gonna hurt myself with an analogy. There was just no other option. Ashley just seemed to be the kind of guy who would be captain of this team, especially a new team. So, that's like who else, right? And the thing about that too is that since there's no other option, what happens if Ashley Cole is not the option, especially if he gets out on injury or if he does get a booking, et cetera, because especially in his age, I feel personally, I think this should be Ashley Cole's last season, just because emotionally he wanted to fix the wrong that was last season, and he wants to go out, he wants to retire on a bang and go to the beach and et cetera. So I feel like it's just like this personal challenge of him to make this season good, the minimum go to the playoffs and potentially go for an MLS Cup. You made an expression.
Yeah, no. Damn, I look dark as fuck.
He's the comic relief, everybody. He's the comic.
You're fine though. You look great. You actually look great in the.
Yeah, because the
light's hitting you.
Yeah, the light's hitting me because I'm God. I'm God. Oh. My name in Spanish, Portuguese, and Catalan means the Savior of Jesus.
Salvador?
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
it's translated to the Savior.
Yeah.
So you're welcome, God. So who else, right? Ashley Cole being captain, it leaves it at the pendant spot because who else would be this replacement? I personally think, and other people agree, that maybe Perry Kitchen would. I personally see it because of that tone and just that assertiveness that he has. He's, like I said, he's just the poor man's Michael Bradley. He can do it on the field, and he could be that team leader. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I did hear him mouth off during a corner kick that I think Fletcher kind of when he misserviced that ball. He was just like, "Hey, come on, you guys, let's go!" And I saw him being verbal, and I was just like, "Hey, that's a very important quality to have on the field, is communication." And you kind of just do see Perry Kitchen being a captain, if anything. If Ashley Cole's not there, I would definitely put him as second string captain because he just has that tone and that personality of assertiveness. So they hear the ice cream truck. Yeah, that's that. So those are pretty much my thoughts on Ashley Cole being captain. Overall, I think it's great that he's captain, but I think it's very important that Siggy does his homework and that he finds a second captain when Ashley Cole cannot do every single game. I think Perry is a good option. If not, I don't know who else, because those seem like the only two. Maybe Allison Drini. Allison Drini can. I mean, I think he had the armband. He should have had the armband last season. I don't remember that he did. But Allison Drini could be a good third, if not anything. So, that is that. We'll go to social media questions. There is nothing on. We'll get.
Check out Periscope right now.
There you go.
Um,
16 messages. Your family does group text?
Oh, I'm in another group that's saying that there was a crash on the freeway.
Oh, yeah, you heard about that?
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard about that too.
Oh, yeah, and they're talking about it too.
Yeah,
5 dead.
Yeah,
So,
5 dead.
There's a piece to all the people that died in the car crash.
Yeah, that's right over here. I live in downtown Rialto, so if you're coming from the 10, east or west, there is a big crash on the Riverside exit, and it's like, it's so huge because it was a big rig.
Ooh.
And the big rig caught on fire, and then I think there's like 2 or 3 cars that were underneath that big rig. So like that jam is like for 10 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, forget about it. I mean, I don't know if you heard Fabian.
10-12 hours.
Yeah, I heard like 2 helicopters were hovering over there. So yeah, if you guys are in the area, just please be careful and don't use the 10 freeway.
It goes on both sides now.
Yeah, on both east and west. Forget about it. No.
Yeah, don't go to don't take the 10.
Yeah, don't take the 10 if you're coming towards the Rialto area. So yeah, it's pretty crazy. I heard about it. It happened like 12 o'clock today. So be careful, you guys. That's pretty dangerous stuff. So we didn't get anything on Facebook. I know on Instagram. See the thing about Instagram, like on the laptop, I can't see who messaged me, which sucks. But I know my man Andrew sent a message. I'll probably remember it the best that I can. We'll go to some Twitter questions first because Facebook didn't have anything. Just one comment from Green Machine at Trinity CT Stud, and he says Ashley Cole is a great captain, and Ciani over Stairs any day. Stairs makes too many mistakes. Watch Ciani highlights. He has great addition to the team. He does everything we wanted to do. We wanted Van Dam to do. Perfect replacement. And these are all questions pertaining to the questions that I asked on social media before we record. So he's on board with Ashley Cole being a captain. I do agree with that. Yeah. And I wanted to get back to this topic on that CB spot next to Jorgen. To me, I feel like it's a weak spot, and well, it's up in the air now. I don't feel confident about Ciani for the reasons that I presented. Stairs, me personally, I feel like he needs more experience as an MLS defender, and just seeing what he did in 2017, not the best performance, especially when you like won that spot, given that there is no other competition, I guess you can say. So he was just playing for the most part there, and he didn't come up to the plate and come up to the challenge. And then, you still have that optimism with Thomas. Thomas, his first time in the MLS, trying to transition from college to the first team of the Los Angeles Galaxy, and he's still not even officially contracted. So, I do believe Ciani is the replacement of Jelle Van Dam, but the thing is that Ciani is slow and he's old. And like I said, he cracks under pressure. All the reasons that I presented why Ciani is not the guy for me. But Stairs isn't necessarily the best other option either. Stairs, physically as well, he can run. I just think mentally he can't pull it off. He kind of just does these clearances where it goes to no one, inaccurate passes, so Stairs, I don't feel too confident that he'd be the perfect guy neither. I would say Thomas, but then again, putting a rookie up there, I mean, we're still in preseason. If Thomas can prove me wrong throughout time, maybe he could take that spot. But I'm not going to say it now because you still have to give him a lot of time left. So the thing about Stairs and Ciani too is that they're both kind of like ideal replacements of Jelle Van Dam. Well, Ciani is kind of like the ideal replacement of Van Dam. He does those long passes, kind of like those long English Premier League passes where you kind of just lob it over and find a winger or a forward on the other side of the field. And he's kind of just like that big guy that represents strength, always there for the wall to block the free kick. He's always there for the corner kicks. Ciani has like pretty much most of his goals come from corner kicks. He did have one for RSL, so yeah. And Stairs have done that too, or probably was it Romney that got the corner kick goals? Nevertheless, Stairs and Ciani, for me, both uncertain. But yeah, he's all on board with Ciani picking Ciani over Stairs. And for me, I feel like that's going to be a competitive spot, assuming if the Galaxy doesn't get anyone else to replace that spot. But overall, I still feel not confident about either one of those being a set starter, I guess you can say. I won't feel confident. So unless Siggy gets like a guy, unless Thomas, or if they transfer another guy to get that spot, and if Ciani leaves or Stairs leaves, then yeah, I'll still be kind of uncertain about that spot. And I have seen Ciani videos, and again, all YouTube videos make everyone look great, but Ciani just doesn't reflect those videos. He's just old now. Yeah, I'm just sorry that he's old. But thank you, Green Machine, for your thoughts and questions. Appreciate your point of view on that.
Thank you. Shout out to Green Machine. Follow him on Twitter, please.
Yeah, follow him on Twitter if you like. He is a Galaxy fan. Cool. So that's pretty much it for Twitter. Fuck, man, it sucks that I can't get the. I need to get.
I can want to get issue.
No, but it's like DMs.
Oh.
Yeah. On Instagram, it's my boy Andrew at Sharky with 3 E's 14. Look at that, I remembered. I think he was on board with me as far as like who was the replacement of Ashley Cole, because who is the replacement of Ashley Cole? But we touched on that, and that was one thing he wanted to mention on that. What can I do right here? Oh no, let me go back to this tweet and ask what was the questions. I'm trying to like figure out what he asked just based off my memory. But we'll get to his question soon. I already forgot like what I asked. Oh yeah, the preseason. Yeah, he said his thoughts about Ashley. I think he placed Ciani over Stairs, and this was Andrew on Instagram. I believe, if I remember, he said he preferred Ciani over Stairs because, like I said, you know, Stairs has like these garbage clearances and just cracking under pressure and stuff like that. So I don't know if he doesn't know if what the fuck am I saying? This is what happens when you talk too much. I forget what the fuck's going on. But yeah, he prefers Stairs over. I think he preferred Ciani over Stairs. He's not too certain about Stairs. Ashley Cole, he said that Ashley Cole is not. Ashley Cole doesn't have a replacement as captain. And then his preseason thoughts on the first match. I think he said everyone was all right. I think he says people undercredit Gio for the contribution for that first goal in the preseason match, and I kind of did defend Gio a little bit, saying that is his natural position, and he did contribute, but I think he does a lot of things that he shouldn't have to do, that he's overdoing it, per se. So, yeah, sorry about that, Andrew. I didn't write your question down, but I'll be more responsible next time. I mean, we are recording on a Friday, so it's a little bit out of our schedule. Cool. Thank you guys for your social media questions and comments. Cool. So we're going to go now to poll questions. Last week we asked if you guys were going to watch the Landon Donovan game with Leon, or if you guys are going to watch the preseason with the LA Galaxy taking on New York. Facebook and Instagram both voted yes to watching the LA Galaxy rather than Landon Donovan. 3 votes on Facebook, 67% said yes to the LA Galaxy.
What?
Why are you watching big-titted women on Instagram?
Oh, I'm not. She's a good singer, apparently. The volume's low, so I can't hear anything. Just put it down.
Like, I just saw her chest. I'm like, what the fuck are you watching?
Why are you watching her chest for?
Because, like, it's upside down, and that's all I see.
You
like,
can't
her
see
head.
her face?
No, I can't, because it's upside down. God, the best her, like, bosoms are bigger than her head. Anyways, Instagram, 80% of you guys said you guys were watching the LA game instead of Landon Donovan. And then Twitter, 50% of you guys said you guys would watch both, and that's based off 7 votes. So that was last week's poll results. This week, I'm going to ask you guys, Do we have a good bench? That's going to be my poll question for this week. I'll post it later on today since it's like only 4 o'clock. Yes, no, or maybe. Those are the responses. Personally, I think we have an okay bench. I just, they have to, like I said, they have to, find a game plan together. But overall, like I said, not too shabby with the bench. I think we have good depth as far as defense and midfield. We're kind of set on that. As far as forwards, we got to find a guy to be the backup of Kamara. Everyone says Gio, but then again, Gio and Joan are going to be absent for August. So a little bit worried about the offensive depth. But overall, I think we have an okay bench for the season to come. So yeah, so those are your options. You can say yes, no, or maybe to that. And then, you have any other thoughts or anything?
Did you see the comments the Ziggy Zardes? I'm not. Oh my God, Zardes made.
What did he say?
He said about like how.
Oh yeah, I think he was talking to Goal.com saying when he was playing with the Galaxy, he didn't know what he was playing. Like each week was like a new week, and he wasn't sure if he was going to be a winger or a striker on top. So yeah, I did see that, throwing the LA Galaxy under the bus, but I don't blame him because a lot of different manager changes, and Siggy put him on the right back. What the fuck was that? Wait, what the you're putting a striker on at defense, and then he gets all the shit.
Yeah.
So it's pretty mind blowing the way how Zardes left, but he does have a point. Despite the fact that the man doesn't have a good touch or whatever, he does have a point. He did not know what the heck he was going to play week in and week out. So I do understand that, but nevertheless, that was the comment that he said. I'm not going to be a lawyer and say, oh, you're wrong because you have a bad first touch. Who are you to say? But he does have a point there. I wouldn't blame him, but he looks like he's doing good for Columbus. He got some goals in the preseason, so that's good for him. He needed a new room.
Environment.
He needed his room to be painted, and I forgot too when I look at social media, him and John Kempen on the same team.
Oh really?
Columbus. Yeah, I forgot. Kempen actually went to Columbus too. I forgot about that. So there you go. Well, we're gonna wrap up pretty quick. Cool. Preseason talk tomorrow. We are gonna play San Jose at the Great Park in Irvine, California. And we're going to play the Scum of the North, and that's going to be a 2 p.m. Matchup. That game will be on live stream. So the Fresno match was not on live stream. So yeah, looking forward to that matchup when we play the Scum. They did have some new changes for the Scum. They did lose a lot of familiar faces that we used to have. They are having a new coach as well. I know the big boy Bernardes is not going to be there anymore. Marco Roreña went to LAFC. Marco Roreña went to LAFC, and then we have their David Bingham. So it'll be pretty interesting for David Bingham to play his former team in this rivalry. It's going to be pretty interesting, and then also be interesting for Dominic, because he was a former San Jose coach. So it would be a pretty interesting Saturday over there in Orange County. So again, that's on live streaming, guys. Don't want to miss that. I probably won't be watching it. I get out at 2:30. I probably won't be. I won't watch that game. You probably won't be neither.
No, I think I'm going at 3:30. I might be able to see the first half.
Oh, you going at 3?
Yeah, 3 or 3:30. One of those times. One of those times.
God, you're an assistant manager. You don't know shit.
Hell no. I go day by day basis. I know today I go at 7:30 and that's it.
You fucking said 6:30.
6:30, yeah, an hour. So I give myself an hour.
Okay.
Okay.
Then it'll take an hour to put on clothes.
It took an hour to shut the fuck up.
Apparently. I do all the talking. Alrighty.
You ready?
So, no, we don't have anything else on social media. Well, we're going to wrap up real quick.
Damn, Little Caesars. That's right.
Yeah, because you fucked them over, man. Fucked you over.
Fuck me over, bro. They fuck you hard as fuck, no condoms.
Yes. Speaking of that, I was talking to Gilbert on the Twitters, and he did bring up the whole where to watch Galaxy games and the whole viewing party and where to hang out for all the IE Galaxy fans. So this is what I have in mind. So again, I have to check my schedule like throughout until my schedule, like from here and from moving forward about where to establish a place to watch the games. For me, in my mind, it's the Colton joint that I mentioned to you guys earlier. It's Pizza Dilly. It's a Dodgers. The owner is a Dodgers fan, so it's a Dodgers, the LA Dodgers themed kind of a pizzeria. And the only reason why I picked that spot is because they have Spectrum. And when you have Spectrum, you can watch LA Galaxy games because the Dodgers also have Spectrum. So that's really where I would put, like, for like the spot where the IE Galaxy fans can come and hang out to watch the game. That's the spot that I picked. I'm gonna try it for for like the first month or for like the first game, and just to see how it goes. It's kind of like a tentative spot. It's not a permanent spot because I want to see how like other people come and and when they get there, I want them to tell me, it's like, hey, how was the drive? Is this a good location for you? Is this a good environment for you? Are you like cringing because it's a Dodger themed? Because not everyone's a Dodger fan, but most LA Galaxy fans are Dodger fans, so I think they'll be okay with that. But I think because the only reason I picked that spot is because it's close by and it has Spectrum. That's the thing, because like for the Spectrum games, like you can't just go to like any other bar because like most of them will have like DirecTV. So I think like the fact that they have Spectrum, now we could actually like have the chance to watch the game. But Gilbert did bring another potential spot, which is it's in Redlands, I believe. I don't know if you remember.
I think it's like.
So it's like in downtown. It's in downtown Riverside, and it's kind of like off the 10 freeway. It's like it's an English bar, and they have like, I don't know if you remember the Union Jack flags outside.
Oh yeah,
that's the place. That's the place where he went to, and he said that they don't have Spectrum, so I'm kind of just like, so it'd only be like for national televised TV. But yeah, like I said, if you guys don't like the Colton joint, we can do it there in Redlands. I know where it's at, so I can get the address or whatever. But like I said, I'm open to any suggestions. But for the most part, right now, tentatively, the Colton joint is where I will plan to have, make that the main spot. Just until someone else has another idea. But if not, Colton's a joint. And I'm not sure how your Saturdays are gonna be like. So Fabian won't be there all the time. I work the weekends too, and I
could request you to like open or.
Yeah, just for the certain times.
Just for certain times, yeah.
Yeah, it's not like you have to be here all day.
It's a 2 hour like time frame, so.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's just the planning in the future, and hopefully Fabian can get the website done by next week. That way we can get some T-shirts and get some other cool stuff we can have on the website. So yeah, hopefully that gets everything done. So yeah, without any further ado, you want to give the people your socials, Mr. Cameraman? Was I scratching my balls a lot? I should cover that. I have a bad tendency of doing that.
I was just like, the sounds great. So my Twitter is @ChampagneFabi, and then my Instagram is the same thing @ChampagneFabi_.
Cool.
That's me.
Alrighty. If you guys want to add me on Facebook, the link will be in the show notes. So again, if you're adding me on Facebook, please leave a message and say you're from the fan page, or you listen to us, or you listen to the podcast, or you listen to the show. And don't forget, you guys, subscribe on iTunes, rate, honest review, and then follow us on SoundCloud as well. And tell your friends, you guys, if you guys, are like, if you guys live in LA, but you guys know like people who live in the Inland Empire, and if you want them to be Galaxy fans, just direct them over to the show, because like I said, this is like for the region. I want all the Galaxy fans from the Inland Empire to come and be a part of this thing that I'm trying to create. So don't do it for me. Don't do it for Yeah, don't do it for me. Just do it for the principle that we all are Galaxy fans, because it's at the end of the day, it's just supporting our blue, white, and gold, and G's coming together is about like the best dream that I can have. So if you guys have any family members or anyone who lives in the Empire, definitely suggest us. Definitely. If you guys want to follow the Pan page on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, you can follow us on all of those platforms at IE Galaxy. And if you guys want to leave us an email, you guys want to send us like a voice memo, you can email it to our email at lagalaxyfansie@gmail.com. That's it. Without any further ado, guys, you guys have a great day, great night. Take care. Sorry that we recorded on a Friday. So, nevertheless, you guys can hear this over the weekend. But, yeah, you guys have a great one. Take care. Peace.
Bye.